Namaskar, Vanakkam, Tamil Nadu. Good afternoon, India. I'm going to start with two questions and let me see how alert you are. There are two challenges when people speak, just before lunch and just after lunch. Before lunch, people are looking more towards what is going to be the menu, and when I saw the published card that was given to me, the menu is quite tempting. Unless my talk or interaction with you is going to be more tempting, it's going to be tough to keep you here, but I promise that I'll do that. In one of the sessions like this, once a famous guru was invited to speak. This is where I'm going to come to you with question 1. So he went there and looked at the audience. They all seem to be as learned as you are. Very highly paid speaker. So he came there and then looked at all of them eagerly, looking forward to listen to what he's going to share. He asked them a very simple question. Do you all know what I'm going to speak about? So people said, no, I don't know what we don't know what you're going to speak about. Then he said, there's no point in speaking to a crowd who don't know what I'm going to speak about, and then he left. And then they said, we have to make him somehow speak. So they again paid and hired a date. He came again. And as usual, they're all assembled. This time they're very smart and ready. So he asked them the same question, do you know what I'm going to speak about? They all said, we know what you're going to speak about. He said, there's no point in speaking to a crowd who know what I'm going to speak about. He left. So now they all got together, strategized, saying this guy is very smart, we have to do something to hook him here. So they again booked a date, they called him. Now they are very clear. They all decided on a strategy, the way he was split and sitting, they all sat and they knew what question is going to come. And when he came there, he asked them the same question, do you know what I'm going to speak about? People on the right said, yes, we know what you're going to speak about. People on the left said, we don't know what you're going to speak about. Then he said, it's quite simple. Those who are on the right, please tell the left what they are going to speak about. Now the question comes here. Do you all know what I am going to speak about? No? Okay. The situation or the question number 2 is going to come now here. Once again a speaker like me was called to a session and he went, and it was a young college crowd. And it was close to lunchtime like this. So he went, and then after a delay, like what happened here, he was called to the stage. He went there and then he asked, how long can I speak? They all said, sir, you can speak as long as you want, but we are leaving in 10 minutes. So the second question to the audience, how long can I speak? There is a very serious connect to the topic that I have taken up here today. When we are born, up to the age of 1.5, I speak a lot on data to borrow from a very famous quality guru called W.E. Deming. His famous quotation says, I trust in God, others speak based on data. Because otherwise it's all emotional stuff and there is no point. I'm going to speak a lot on data today. Up to the age of 1.5, 2, do you know how many times a child smiles or laughs a day? About 160 to 180 times. And you know how much a person beyond 40 smiles? Average of 2 times a month and close to 0 if he is married. So now you have to decide, why is it that we came to a situation that we are unable to smile or laugh? Who taught us that? By the age of 2, 3, when the pressure of education or going to school was thrust upon us, the first thing that we are told is, listen to the teacher, don't ask questions. And as we started growing up, the school, the 10th standard, the plus 2, the college, and things after that, we were told it was a one-way street. We moved into what is known as a rote memory system. We all are given a script to live by. Qualify yourself, get a good job or start a profession, get married, have children, retire, die, and repeat, if depending upon your belief system. Let's look at what the word smile really means. I have coined an acronym around the word smile, and let's see whether it connects to what we are all here for and the service that Rotary does to this world. I was just sharing with Mr. Worky down that the first talk that I gave to the Rotary Plenum was way back in 1998. That was near Adair Park, Sheraton, the then Adair Park, Sheraton in Chennai. It's quite interesting that after almost close to 25 years, I am here again to a very large audience. In between, I've given several sessions to Rotarians. I have coined a word, or rather an acronym around this word called SMILE. Let's look at SMILE and what does it mean, how we all can practice this in our day-to-day life. One thing let me share before starting, to borrow from the quotation of the famous author Stephen Covey. In the book 8th Habit, which is quite a famous book of Stephen Covey, who was also known to me personally. He died about 5-6 years back before the pandemic. He said that knowing and not doing is as good as not knowing at all. In the deluge of our day-to-day life, we are flooded with information on a day-to-day basis. In a day, a normal human, specifically a professional like you and I, we are deluded with close to 90,000 information per day from morning till night. And the speed at which WhatsApp forwards happen, the input of information is so high. But how much do we really practice in life? It's almost close to zero. A scientific study shows that in a day of 90,000 important information that comes to you, we hardly grasp one input and then go back and practice. So in this day which is packed with so many sessions, you are going to get anywhere between maybe 1 lakh to 2 lakh inputs in terms of information that's going to come at you. So please decide carefully which is the information that you want to pick up and ensure that that becomes a practice in your life. Otherwise, a session or a seminar like this might just be something that flies above our head all the time. We are either in it or we are just watching but doesn't make a real impact in our life. SMILE, let me start with that acronym. S stands for, in my view, spark. Our role in our life is to create spark not only in others but in ourselves. People who are dimly lit, either inside or outside, and people who are not able to light others really do not have much of inspiration for anyone else to follow. If you know the story of a candle, the role of a candle more than giving light is to ensure that it lights another candle before it dies off. This is something Rotarians would understand very well. Why do I have to create a spark? What does it do? The spark comes to then connects back to the second letter in the word called M, which stands for motivation. If you look at the word motivation, which is one of the most powerful words that you'll come across. If you know the language of English reasonably well, I am told that the person who was doing the MC, Dr. Meera, right? She is a PhD in English, and there is something called as etymology, the word, the root of the word to which you connect. And the original English language had just about 1,000 words. The rest of the words, which is close to 7-8 lakh today, was built by borrowing from other language and usage. The word motivation comes partly from a Latin word called motive, which stands for force. What do you mean by force? Why do you need a force? Motivation is the force for you to move from point A to point B to point C. So what is point A, what is point B, what is point C? When that auction was happening on the stage, I was just watching. There was a point A, which means that whatever they were auctioning, that beautiful piece of elephant that was auctioned here, it is the point A of where you wanted to collect something. The point B was an amount that had to be collected by auctioning that, which means people have to move towards that. A force has to be maintained. Unless a force is maintained, a person doesn't move from point A to point B. What is point B? This is what we call as goal in life. A beautiful study in behavioral science says that 98% of the people go back to the grave without knowing what their goal in life was. Ever. That's why there is a famous quotation which says, we all live life twice. Till we actually find the purpose is the first stage of life. The second stage of life is when we find the purpose or the goal and then live for it. which happens to only 2% of the people in the world. So the motivation normally, which is what Smile is all about, is to ensure that people find why they are here. What is the purpose? What is the goal? The goal can be in professional life, can be in personal life, can be in business life, can be in your spiritual life, in any dimensions. Normally there are about 7 to 8 dimensions in which you can set goals. And motivation happens in 2 factors. About 99% of the people in the world need motivation which is external. It is like an engine which needs a kick start from outside. You have to start it before the engine can start moving, before it maintains its own force for it to reach where it is supposed to reach. Only 1% of the world population is what we call as self-motivated. The role of Smile or the word motivation is to ensure that people, one, are made to be aware of what they are here for, the search of existence. It need not be the same for everyone. For a scientist, it could be a discovery which has never been made. For a politician, it could be a change that they bring to the world by administering or being part of politics, things that they would do which will make them to be part of the history. For Rotarians like you, eradication of polo, I was really amazed to see that in the year 2023 you had only 5 cases as compared to millions of cases in 1985. Hats off to the work that you have done. Which means there was a goal, there was a propelling force behind it which made you to go towards that. If you are motivated, the third thing happens, which means you get inspired. What does it mean to be inspired? Inspired is the eternal fuel which will ensure that the fuel of motivation doesn't die, both inside you and both outside of you. In this world, people normally tend to rest if they are not pushed from outside. This is a common factor. You will find it in your home. Your children who are in school or college may not want to really progress really fast. There is this beautiful study which was done many years ago, which shows that the human potential has till now not been completely ever measured in terms of what we can achieve. Even if it can be measured, it was found that even a person like Albert Einstein was able to reach about 5% of the capacity of what he was capable of. Imagine a person like Albert Einstein is able to reach only 5% of his capacity. And what if he had achieved 100% of his capacity? What kind of new things he would have come out with? Even the theory of relativity that he came out with, the famous formula E is equal to mc squared, which many of us only know it as a theoretical aspect. Even that was only out of 5% brain, and how much we would have used our capability or our potential. This is where the inspiration comes from. To show to the world that continuously that you are far beyond what currently you know of yourself. When that happens, what happens is that you make them to really succeed in life. When people succeed in life, what they do? They smile, they laugh. When that happens, you tend to elevate the spirits around you. This is the word acronym that I have coined, which is called as SMILE. To create the spark, to motivate, to inspire, to laugh, and then to elevate the spirit so that people are always happy. What's wrong in happiness? Many times people confuse. I always see many times wherever I travel for leadership sessions, coaching sessions, meditation sessions, things I do, pan-India, pan-Asia. People are always glum. If you're going to say that I'm going to be happy because of something, you'll never be happy in your life. Can you be happy unconditionally? This is what Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. If you can be happy unconditionally, that is eternal happiness. Can you really bring that? When was the last time you heartily laughed? When was the last time you heartily smiled at someone? I'm going to do a quick exercise for you to relax a bit. Take a moment, look to your left, look at the person who is to your left and give them a warm smile. Please do it right now. A warm smile to the person who is to your left. Thank you. Now turn to your right, look at the person, give them a warm smile. Does it feel good? Good? Beautiful. How many doctors in this crowd? Medical doctors, not PhD doctors. About 7 hands I see, at least from here. I just studied the effects of continuous smile. People who smile about 20 to 25 times a day, either smile or laugh, have the following medical benefits. Number one, their stress hormones tend to reduce. You don't pay for it. To smile, you don't need to pay anything. Has anyone asked you to deposit money? Per smile, you have to give me 1,000 rupees. Thank God they are not auctioning smiles yet. Otherwise, it will become very expensive. You need stress hormones to be reduced for you to handle a life pressure-free and to be happy. The second benefit is your muscles tend to be more relaxed. When your muscles are more relaxed, you tend to sleep better. The third point they say is your immune system gets better. And all these, please bear in mind, are zero cost. You don't need to pay for any medicine. I am not against medical profession. But you don't need to pay someone to get healthy. The fourth benefit they say is your antibody production in the system increases because you keep smiling. The fifth point that they say is your mood and well-being becomes more enhanced than what it is today or what it is right now. The seventh point they say is your relationships become stronger. Can you get angry? Just do one thing, small exercise. Smile at someone next to you and see if you can get angry. Just turn to your left or right, smile and see if you can get angry. Hey man, you idiot, how are you? You can't do that. Impossible. They say that beautiful relationships can be built by just smiling. This is one of the most disarming defense technique I teach to school children, adolescents, adults. Whenever you get angry, let the first response be a smile. When you smile, many times you'll find that your defense mechanism goes down. Defense mechanism is what makes us unhappy and makes us angry. The last point is that conflicts tend to come down. Let us see that what causes smile, what are the two major reasons. If you look at the case of an iceberg, the iceberg 5% is what is visible above the sea. 95% is what is below the sea. The smile, what others see, that 5% above the iceberg is what we call as a behavior. The behavior in scientific terms or in behavioral terms is called as something which is externally visible. Externally visible is behavior. When I smile, you can see it on my face, that is externally visible. But what causes this smile is what the iceberg which is hidden below the water, which is what we call as the attitude. Do you have an attitude of happiness? Do you have an attitude of compassion? Do you have an attitude of wanting to be together and make the people around you to be more peaceful, happy, harmonious? If that is there, automatically what is reflected outside will be a continuous smile. In same situation, people based on their attitude can see it as a conflict, can see it as a potential way to increase harmony. The choice is yours. So please look at yourself. If you are not able to smile, the challenge is not in your facial muscles. The challenge is in the attitude that you have towards life, which makes you not to be able to smile. I'll give you 3 best kept secrets as inputs, which will help you to smile more often. Not only for you to smile more often, but to bring smile in others' face. What are these 3 tips? In all probability, all these 3, you might have done it randomly, sporadically, ad hocly, once in a while. The first one, let me ask you another question to see how engaged you are here. I'm going to ask you a question, let me see how many of you can answer it instantly. Children cry for it, elders will even die for it. What is the answer? Children cry for it, elders will even die for it. You don't know? Sorry? Come again? Sleep. It is called, the word is called, if somebody said it, I didn't hear you, sorry. The word is called appreciation. Let me explain. Children cry for it. When they do something good, they want you to tap on the back. If you don't do it, they'll start crying. When I said that elders will even die for it, can you die for the sake of appreciation? Ask an army man. Posthumous awards given. Knowing well going to the battlefield, I may not come back alive. Yet, when I do give up my life for the sake of the nation, I am given an award posthumously, the world appreciates. These are 2 things you will see as 2 extremes, but in the day-to-day life, there is a very interesting scientific evidence I am going to share. This was done across about 8,000 companies about 15 years back, covering about 1 lakh employees in these 8,000 companies, they were asked one single question. How many times in a day do you think you do something that is worth applauding or appreciating? The answer given was, in a day, my wow moments were between 6 and 8. Wow, I did a beautiful job. I closed this sale. I solved this customer conflict. I helped close this deal. Wow, I felt great 6 to 8 times a day. The second question that was asked was very interesting. How many times did your boss or your immediate supervisor or your team leader or your manager appreciated you? The answer came was maybe once a year. Maybe once a year. That's why I said people continuously die for appreciation. Doesn't take too long. All it needs is, I call it a self-appreciation. You may not want somebody else to appreciate, they may not even know when to appreciate. Whenever you think you have done something good, take your right hand and then pat yourself on the back. Do you feel good right now? Take your right hand, just pat yourself on the back. No harm done. The world may not pause to come and appreciate you, but you can appreciate yourself. But if you are a leader, Rotarians being leaders, this is where you can really give a spark to the life of others. Just stand, look at the right, and just say, you did a great job. English or any language has what is called as adjectives. Wow, superb, great. But all of you are keeping quiet. I am teaching you how to appreciate, but you are not appreciating to put your hand together. Tamil sollana potu vaanga vendiyadhu. Kettu vaanga vendiyadhu. I have to ask. Anyway, this just to tell that people expect appreciation, but please bear it in mind, it is a cycle that you have to start first. If you do not start, I was having breakfast in the morning. This is something that I do as a practice, because they always say that don't teach that something that you cannot practice. Don't preach that you don't practice. At least on 2 or 3 occasions, the person was waiting on me, came and did something good. I just looked at his eyes and I said, thank you. And the first thing that it is was automatically smile. I was also looking at a few other people who are sitting there, that included a few Rotarians as well who are staying here. But it looked like it's your job you're doing, why should I appreciate you? You're going to have lunch today. Give them a surprise when somebody serves you good. They pick a plate from your hand, or they just wait on you. Just look at the rice and say thank you. When you are back in the home in the evening, your spouse is waiting for you. Your spouse or wife has cooked a good meal. Just look into the rice and just thank you. Genuinely, because they can easily find what is the attitude behind that. Not very difficult to do. And I see many people smiling because your wife might get confused. Evening would thank you. Anyway, the second thing they say that the best way to bring a smile on others' face is to do random acts of kindness. Very, very rare in this world. The moment I say random acts of kindness, maybe the name or face of Mother Teresa or somebody like that will come to your face. Is it not possible for us to do random act of kindness? It's not essential you have to always pull out $1,000 or $1 lakh check and give it to somebody else. Even when you stop on the street, I did it at least in the last 2 days about 10 times. Yesterday I did it. Of course, the lady was a beautiful one. And she was walking and she was in the station and she was struggling just to take her luggage. I just took the luggage and helped her to board the train. Not because she was looking beautiful and not because we all have a doodling eye, but I just felt. And she just turned and said, thank you, sir. Random act of, I don't know who she is. After that, I didn't meet her. I went to another coach, I boarded the train before coming here. But that one act, they will remember for their life. Because when you need the most is when people need help, and the random act of kindness is something which every human wants, but we are not ready to give. We are always, in mobile language they say, incoming call is free. We all want things to come to us, but outgoing call, since it's paid for, we don't just like that give it. The point number 3 that I'm going to give before I move to the next part of the topic, what I call as showing gratitude to someone who has done something good for you. How many times do you sincerely say thank you in a day, other than appreciating, which is a range of words of adjectives? How many times do you just look at someone and say thank you for what you did? Just look at yourself, ask yourself this question. You don't need to answer. But if you can make it about 10 times a day, Don't start with a diary entry tomorrow, not to-do list. I said thank you one, I said thank you two. Not like that. It's something that has to come automatically from within. People are all the time, please bear in mind, this world is always running because of teamwork. I always ask this example to all the people. When you brush your teeth, do you think you're doing it on your own? You may think you're brushing your teeth on your own, but for the water to come in the tap, somebody should have put the motor on. For the towel to be hanging there, somebody should have put the towel out there. Without all that, your brushing teeth also cannot happen. But when someone is helping me to do that, do I even recognize that my existence in this world? Doctors will know. In that golden hour, when I sink and fall, I cannot go walk into an ICU and get admitted. Somebody has to pick me up. Adhanalda Tamila sonanga, 4 பேருக்கு நன்றி. Those kind of moments should not happen to anybody, but there are micro moments when somebody is helping me, but I don't really recognize that. Let me now move back to what hope is. I said we are going to speak about smile and hope. That is the topic that I have taken up. What do you mean by hope? Again, hope, I am going to start with a very simple term. I have created another acronym around hope. What is the necessity for hope? Before getting into the concept of hope, let me share one scientific data with you. We are considered to be species endowed with the ability called as the sixth sense. Up to the fifth sense, which consists of about 84 lakh species in this world, science has proved that evolution is automatic. They don't need to do anything to move from first to second to third to fourth to fifth. The first to second to third to fourth to fifth is nothing but your way in which you use your 5 senses, the touch, the feel, the look, all those things. At the level of the fifth, which is like the dog and the cats and the other animals, they have up to the fifth sense. The sixth sense is when you become what we call as a human being. Only in the human being, growth is not automatic. We have absolutely no reason to grow. Others, the growth is automatic. For a human being, the growth has to be self-fueled or fueled from outside. You can grow in different dimensions. Your body can grow, which may be partly automatic. Your mind can grow. Your spiritual dimensions can grow. So many other things can grow. But only in the humans it is said that to grow you need support, and that's where hope comes in. If somebody tells you, if you get up tomorrow morning, it's going to be the worst day of your life, would you want to really get up tomorrow or sleep through and get up the day after? In all probability you would prefer that, let me now go through and wake up the day after. Man wakes up every day with the hope that today will be better most probably than yesterday. This is the perennial hope with which we are living. A student who is not scoring enough marks is hoping that tomorrow maybe I'll study better, the answer paper will be easier, or the person is going to correct the exam, is going to give me exam or extra marks, I'll score more. Let me give you the acronym for the word hope that I have created. It is the human odyssey towards personal excellence. Human odyssey. Odyssey stands, if you really look at Webster, odyssey is a word that stands for an adventurous journey. It is not just a journey. It's an adventurous journey. Human odyssey for personal excellence. We have absolutely no limit to the level to which we can become better in our life. You can never say that I have achieved the best in my life. And for this to happen, I am going to give you another 4-letter word, which is an acronym that I have created. All it needs is a dose a day. Not dosa, but dose. D-O-S-E. What do you mean by D-O-S-E? Again, let me take the support of medical profession people here. We all have several chemicals or hormones working in our body. And all these are working in your body all the time free of cost. If you only know what they are and how I can use them, I can create this self-fulfilling hope spirit inside of me without having to depend on anybody else outside of me. What do you mean by dose? These are the 4 predominant chemicals in your body which will continuously help if you know how to monitor, utilize for your own growth. D stands for dopamine. Dopamine is also considered to be the happiness hormone which is achieved through small achievements. If you go to the gym, if you are lifting 10 kilos today and if you lift 11 kilos the next day, you feel happy, I have achieved something better than yesterday. That automatically makes your body to secrete what is known as a dopamine hormone. It is free. I have done something better. Even through small achievements, the dopamine can automatically secrete. If you do it, assuming about 15-20 times a day, which is very simple, which means this is where the professional excellence, ODC, comes in. Let me aim to do something better than what I have done yesterday. If I have collected $1 million in this year for my division of the district in which I am there, the club in which I am there, next year let me aim for $1.2 million, a small achievement, which will help the dopamine to run. Dopamine is what gives the adrenaline rush, and that's what makes people to clap when someone achieves. That's what takes me to the second letter called oxytocin. This is where the smile, where I said appreciate people. Appreciation helps oxytocin to be released. When someone taps me on the back, oxytocin gets released, and that automatically ensures that your happiness goes up a few notches. The third one is called as serotonin, which comes from happiness from acknowledgements. When you have happiness from acknowledgement, yes, you did a great job, you are a great person, your contribution is acknowledged, people feel motivated to go towards the goals faster. The fourth letter is called endorphin, which comes through happiness by physical efforts. I walked 1 kilometer a day, I exercised a bit, I cut the trees in the garden. All these are things which will help the dose or the 4 chemicals to flow through my body much better way. I have gone through so much in my life that I can keep on talking, but I understand that there is a lunch break in between. We need to assemble back and we have a long day ahead and tomorrow. I will share one single poem that I read recently, which I brought specifically for this session. I am also an avid meditator, as it was introduced, which is what helps me to keep the positivity around me. I practice heartfulness meditation. This is something that keeps my positivity and hope and smiles up all the time. Let me share this poem by the late Spike Milligan about what smiling is all about. He says, smiling is infectious. You catch it like the flu. When someone smiled at me today, I started smiling too. I walked around the corner and someone saw me grin. When he smiled, I realized I had passed it on to him. I thought about the smile and then realized its worth. A single smile like mine could travel around the earth. So if you feel a smile, begin. Don't leave it undetected. Start an epidemic and get the world infected with your smile and hope. Thank you. If there is going to be a Q&A session, if you have time, I can take it or we can close it now. Thank you once again for another round of appreciation.